So, how's everybody doing? I hope we're ready to start this new wave, this new year the right way, and we're going to be surfing it, naving all the way. Uh, so, as usual, you know the drill. If you have a question, raise your hand, open the mic, ask your question directly. You can also ask the question in the chat. I have Robert shadowing me for the answers there. If it's too complicated, raise your hand and we will address. Go ahead, Keisha. First to shoot. Oh, you're muted. Kind of hard to hear you.
How long did you work on that nav line?
Well, we're supposed to be doing it, right? Surfing the wave, naving all the way. So, questions. I assume that we have been using it. We had a great session last time on the 31st. I know the session wasn't on the calendar, so only a few people showed, which was actually rewarding. And we had a great conversation around the importance of understanding the prospect, right? Because now that we're talking nav, we're taking sales, we're really talking about the who is who that we're trying to offer these opportunity to. So if you have questions around that, or if you have things that you want to share about how you've been doing with nav so far, go ahead, or I will demonstrate again what we've covered last time on
Hey,
how to
also,
approach it.
Virgil, also, if we might, I think that
Mhm.
there's somebody new in here. If they're new, place a one down in the chat just so that we know that you're new here. I think Dean,
Yes,
you're pretty new here. I saw you on My AI earlier. Cool, cool, cool. You
welcome,
might just give
Dean.
them a
Then
lowdown on what happens here, how we do it.
oh, yes. This is for everybody that is new here. This is really an open forum for questions. It's our how-to sessions. We hold them on Tuesday and Wednesday. It's an open forum where you can actually openly ask your question. I will answer the best I can. And if I cannot, I will come back with these answers. For follow-up, I've created a few things that I recommend joining. I'll share in the chat the link to a newsletter that you can sign up for, where also you can go over the previous conversation we had in this space, case studies, content that I made available. I also created a team to that effect. So most of the conversation that we have or follow-up content that we would have been able to cover during these sessions, I will tend to update there. I hope this is good for everybody. And again, if you have a question, feel free to raise your hand or open your mic and ask. We just want to keep it in an organized format so that we can all benefit from it.
I got a comment or testimonial for Nav.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm in the grocery store right now. I'm off camera, but yeah, I'm still trying to figure this Nav out. So I was playing with it, and I said, let me try it out. So I had a contact, and I ran the Nav on her. She was somebody that had opted into one of my sales pages. So
Mm-hmm.
I just copy and pasted what it told me into her Facebook Messenger, and she replied to my surprise, "How much?" And I was like, "Whoa, okay, this is cool." So we had
Yes.
we had a couple conversations, through Messenger, and 2 days later she was a customer. And like I say, and I still don't really understand how to use this thing completely, but it works. So I'm looking forward to this Thursday training so I can get a better understanding on exactly how to use it.
Love the exchange, and that is definitely something that I hope we're all experiencing. Even if we don't know how to use it, if we trust the system, we will see some results. And that is truth in the
Exactly.
saying.
What a great
Exactly.
testimonial. What a great testimonial. Thanks for sharing that, brother.
Perfect. Do you guys want me to go over a demonstration or recommendation again on how to prepare or how to use Nav when we're in the space? I think that would benefit everybody. And if there
Yeah.
are any questions during, you can hop in and interrupt as well. So we're gonna start. I'm gonna share my screen. Okay. And again, uh, when you're on the interface, you will see that Nav is accessible at different point. Right here, for example, you can already use nav, select and engaging with it. This will act more as guiding you through the process of handling maybe objections if you're actively commenting on posts or engaging, or in the case, for example, where like you're at Zuma in the conversation, get some advice from Nav here. But really and truly, when you are looking to start Nav, you really want to start in this space, right? It's important to understand that when you are about to go into the conversation, that you have properly anchored the description. So you have a good idea of who it is you're about to speak to. In the simple format, again, this here is something that is easy to understand. When you get into the space to create your business profile, simply understand that you want to give clear answers to what it is you're offering, and also keep in mind who it is you are targeting for that conversation. As simply as describing the fact that we're looking at startup entrepreneurs or homemakers or specific job titles that we're targeting if we're trying to pitch this offer to a marketing expert. These simple conversation point around who it is we're targeting will do a lot in identifying the target audience. So far, so good for everybody? Perfect. I have given some in-depth tutorial in the team content. If you want to review examples, I recommend you do so. Now, the idea behind that is since this conversation is also following us in the prospecting, by the time we get in this space, we already have a good idea of the type of job titles we're looking for. And this approach is us using Nav from the system, pulling out prospect and starting a conversation with them of following the recommendation that Nav will offer. So these are the first thing. This is the first step-by-step process that I will go through. Okay. So in this space, for example, I know that I'm offering Nowsite as a service, and the tool here, for example, would be great for solopreneurs, independent distributors, independent salesmen, things like that. I could look at also somebody that has an interest in customer service, right? I always come back to the people, to my own background, right? I love people from customer service. I know how to talk to them. I come from that background. Here, the simple other interest that I would be aiming for to make sure that I can offer the marketing conversation is definitely a simple interest in marketing, sales, uh, I would say startup, right? And these are the type of interests that, simply put, we all would have on our social media platform. Remember that interest and skills is pertaining to what this prospect is interested in, right? I covered a little bit of conversation around prof, um, client profile, avatars, psychographic, and such. I left also a document in the group for that. And it's just a big way or complicated words to just say that I want to talk to this person because they're interested in this. So I need to understand the interests of that person, simply put. Right. So here, for example, in this case, I'm going to put them in my digital card, for example, and I'm going to get a prospect. Now, from this point, logically, we understand what is happening. The AI goes after a prospect with these key interests in mind. I have Christina. I'm going to view the prospect. Now, already here, we already understand what we're going to be doing next. We're most likely going to be activating Nav here to go to the process. Before we do that, we want to understand what is happening behind the machine, right? And that helps, for example, understanding in the case of what Zuma shared, what actually happened. Because remember that when we're getting these prospect profile, we're getting conversation points around their interests, their skills, right? What they are doing, and also personality analysis and sales tactics, right? All that is what the AI will now be using when I activate Nav on this profile to give me the process to follow to properly engage this person, right? And you can see, for example, that at a glance, when we looked at that person's profile, we can see that there was very little information. at first. But for me, this is a lot. Since this person was very specific in showing the world that she is skilled in these area, then the interesting point of conversation would be engaging on that interest, right? So you can see here, for example, Nav picked up on the fact that we have the LinkedIn, that we have the email. It is suggesting a first conversation directly to social media, which is a direct way to get a conversation going. I could also hint during my conversation that I sent her an email later on, maybe. But at first, if we understand the process of conversation that we are also adhering to, which is the sales flow, we're trying to create a connection, build a rapport, and so on and so forth. So, to that effect, I'm going to go to the message, right? And here, cold outreach. And at this point, I know that I'm going to LinkedIn, right? I could actually start right away with the business conversation that I want, or I can start lightly. In this case, for example, I saw or I see that we have a share interest in marketing and sales. Let's connect, right? Having glanced at the conversation, or even prior to glancing to what the enhance and forgave me coming into the tool, I already knew that I was looking for somebody that has an interest in marketing and sales. I already knew my audience, basically, right? Coming back to the idea of knowing your product, but also knowing your audience, or having a good idea of who you want to be talking to. So here, generate. The AI is going to take that conversation and simply put, I noticed that we both share a keen interest in marketing and sales. I would love to connect and exchange insight. And at that point, you know the rest. We're just going to click on the rest and we're going to go to her LinkedIn and go into that conversation. So here, I need to identify him on my personal profile here. So here I have Christina, and you know the rest. I would offer her to connect and post a message and go on. At that point, I would come back to the tool, going back to the contact. And well, I have my next guideline, 9th of January, 12th of January to follow. Ideally, by this date, I would want to go into the hard exchange, but this could very well happen before. So far, so good.
Yeah, the other thing too, Virgil, if you would mention,
Hmm.
like you can speak to Nav and update it with what you're doing. You know what I
Yes,
mean by that?
yes, absolutely. That basically would come. I would do. Well, we did that. We should definitely always update Nav with what we're doing in the context of the conversation. I was gonna use that in the second part, right? Because technically, this was one of the first part of using Nav, and again, you want to be interacting with it every time you're doing it. But the next part, the next way of using it, and this is where updating nav on what you are doing at the time where you're doing or exchanging with it comes in hand because we understand that we are technically spending the first part of the day using these tools, right? And we should also think about including nav in that point. So starting from that point, I am here prospecting. So I'm going to be, in this case, prospecting for Nowsite. Again, I want to, for example, inspire, uh, get started. Actually, wait, just going to double back here. Again, adhering to what I always offer here. For example, I'm going to grab this. So I'm going to come back to my post. So you're spending the first part of the day. Actually, I should have just jumped to what happens or what you would be doing on the social media of your choice. In this case, for example, I'm going to choose Facebook. Last time I tried LinkedIn. We'll give it a try with Facebook this time. So I'm going to select Facebook and I'm going to get started and publish this. I'm not going to so much worry about the content of the post right now here. Hopefully this works out. Oh, just gonna go to this. Now on Facebook, I hope that we have created a professional profile so that we can get more conversation going when we're actually posting. So that conversation goes beyond what we basically uh, the range of our social media. So here I posted this on this social media page. And the next step is maybe looking at, okay, who exactly is happening here, which conversation I want to, deciding if there's somebody of an interest. So here I'm going to go for these posts. Or even better, what you could be doing here, since we're always looking to expand our reach, we can start looking at conversation by key topic or looking at groups and that affects. So we can see here. So I have this person here. I'm just going to visit this profile. Okay, Stephen King. So what I can do here, if I wanted to engage this person in a conversation, for example, I'm going to grab this. I'm going to go back to the contact section. I'm going to create a profile. If not mistaken, Holmes will be the last name. And I do have here. Now, this person made a lot of information available, so I'm going to take advantage of it. Why not? It's information that is offering publicly, so it means that we can use it to initiate contact with him. So there's a wealth of resources here to grab. Why not? Telephone number. Oh, sorry, made the wrong play here. So this is definitely something that you can do looking at discovering new potential potential contact that you can now navigate yourselves to. So, oh, sorry, copied the wrong information. Here, here. I even notice a telephone number, so why not? And that would be great in this case if for those who have the SMS chat, it's now something that we can use. So here I can add them to my business card and I think I have enough for now. I'm going to save this. With so much information, I am going to try to enhance the profile for those who have the enhancement. That would give us some information. In this case, I didn't get anything. Okay, so at this point, I'm gonna now activate nav here, and we're gonna get into the conversation as well. So while it's doing that, I was just showing basically how you could actually start looking at clients on information here. I didn't, it asked me for a LinkedIn message. So here, I'm gonna put this to the conversation. I'm gonna take his name again so that there's no misspelling. So here, gonna give him the information. I just found basically this gentleman on Facebook. Don't have his LinkedIn. What I noticed is he has a strong interest in marketing and sales. How should I approach? Does that feed into what you're expecting to see, Robert?
100% yes. And then, any follow-up and stuff.
Exactly. So the idea here is when we're not sure, we have this tool to coach us to the process. We should basically keep it informed of what we are doing. And again, more importantly, we should always have a good idea of who we're trying to speak to. So first, Stephen would highlight how Nowsite marketing tools can enhance his marketing strategy and emphasize his positioning, right? So I could formulate this conversation, and I assume we all know how to do it at this point.
So,
Use it
Virgil,
into the conversation. Go ahead.
there's a question from Whitman. He says, was that person a friend prior to getting that contact info?
No, no,
There you go, Whitman.
I wasn't following him.
And
Which,
then,
which, which I, that's a good question actually, because now that I have my eyesight on this person, I should follow. I should like one of his posts and even start a like comment. Love it.
and then to answer Dean's question, he says, does the system provide you with a daily follow-up list from your previous input? The answer is yes, currently in your daily checklist. However, that
Mhm.
will be going away. And then all you'll really have to do is go to your nav and say, what follow-ups or what do I need to do today? And it will tell you.
Perfect. Remember also that you also want to take a little bit of control. We are getting already some pointers, right, with the dates, and we also have our rotation tool and follow up. We want to get into the habit of using those so that the notifications can still come through to the system, even if the checklist is not there. Okay.
Yeah, and I love the way that Justin put it on our last Friday meeting. He said if you really think about it, the way it's working is it's bots talking to bots, right? So the more you communicate with them, especially on the nav side, it's going to keep these other bots that are on the follow-up side to keep all that stuff, you know, talking to each other, so to speak. So it's really
Exactly.
fabulous the way it's worked out.
And it's set to be improved upon. So I am also very excited to see what's going to happen next. And again, while the tool is growing, we want to anchor ourselves in the first part of it, right? Because there's still more to come as we expect to discover with these other new options that will appear. One thing that I did here, I'm going to come back on that. That's something that should help getting ourselves around that concept of who exactly we're trying to speak to. I demonstrated that last time. Sometimes we want to speak to people. Our opportunity is good for everybody, but we're not sure how to visualize and get that persona before us. So, based on what the nav does here, what I recommend you can try or you can do is take this conversation. So, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go back to nav and sorry, to my AI. And last time we tested this, we had a pretty great result. So I'm going to test it again. So I'm going to give all that information in, and I'm going to give it this prompt, which is pretty straightforward, right? I'm going to put that prompt into the chat as well, so you can copy it. And it's basically asking the AI to give me a client avatar profile based on this target audience description that I received. Okay, so I'm just going to paste that in here. Okay, and this helps for those who are lost a little bit in the fog of who basically we're trying to speak to. The AI will take that business conversation or that target audience description and basically give you a client avatar. So that can give you an idea of who exactly I'm trying to speak to, right? Things like ages, well, name is really a fictive name, but the age can be important. Location, a metropolitan area, a vibrant startup ecosystem. He's a founder of his own tech startup company. Okay, so it means that in my business, in my prospecting criteria, I'm going to be looking at business owners if I'm looking at that type of conversation, right? With the interest in fintech, startup ventures, keywords like that that we're picking across the text should help us understand what are the interests that I should be pursuing when engaging this conversation. Make sense? Any questions? To answer your question, Dean, when you do this, I recommend keeping track of it. Copy these content, create your own Word uh, files so that you can come back to these conversation and you can use them outside the platform. It stays in the system, but again, when you are about to use it, it's no saying that the system will rely on that specific information if you're not prompting it, right? So if you want to keep track of what is happening, when you feel that you have solid content from your interaction with your AI, document it. Open up a Word document, save it. Make sense? Can Nav work with other platform, Michelle? In which sense? You cannot the uh, it's a sales tool conversation that is embedded in our program. As a matter of fact, to have Nav, you need one of our service plan. So I'm not sure you cannot really uh, use Nav or embed Nav with another platform. If the other platform is giving you leads that you can download and then import into our system, then you can use the tools of our system and Nav to make it work. Make sense? Questions?
I think
Speaking of, go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, I think we addressed them all so far. I do want to touch on Jorge over here, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's my understanding, right? A lot of people, and I'm not saying this to be mean, but a lot of people just don't read. There's a pop-up that comes up, Jorge, when you're talking to anybody, whether it's LinkedIn or Facebook, and it gives you the directions on how to connect with them. So from my understanding, the way that we have this set up, bypasses those 5 daily connection messages that you're talking about. So you just have to follow that pop-up, hit the connect, and then send the message. It's not that you're directly asking to connect with them, but you're trying to get the message through.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Tina's got a question. Hi,
Go
Tina.
go ahead, Tina.
Well, I'm glad Jorge brought that up, and thank you too, Robert, because I've always been able to bypass of how Cheryl taught us to do. I've not had an issue with that back when we started Sales Flow, but that doesn't exist anymore. I think LinkedIn's caught on. They literally just give us 5. I'm not able to do the steps that Cheryl taught us years ago, a few years ago.
Okay. Maybe there's one
And I
thing that we
actually
want.
asked that question too at some point. And that's why I'm glad Jorge brought up. I thought, we have our unlimited leads. So I've been going to other avenues on their profile since LinkedIn's, I can't do that, bypass it anymore. So maybe there's something new. I
That's
don't.
interesting. I'm
Well,
glad that you
the,
brought that up. I'll have to test it out and try it. I don't do a lot on LinkedIn, but I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, would you,
but
Robert? That would be great because it's been a bummer, and I've been out a lot, so I haven't had a chance.
there's one thing that I just want to clarify, though, and we should keep that in perspective, because on LinkedIn, there's two things. There's the connection, and then there's the direct messaging.
Right, that's what I was
These are
getting.
two different things. The direct messaging is limited by default. Yes, if you have a free account, you have a limit. This is why they encourage you, for example, to go for premium so that you can directly message anybody on in the LinkedIn verse. That's different than connection. A connection request is the equivalent to you asking for friendship on Facebook, right? You're sending a professional message. And again, the choice of word is also following what we understand now must be done. The sales flow. The first thing that you need to do is connect with somebody before anything can be done. And that's the restriction that LinkedIn puts. And I don't think that you have a limited amount of connection.
Well, we used to not.
Mhm.
Because I love sales flow. I could just pound them out. And I'm where Jorge is. I go to connections now because I don't ever go to message at all, and
Okay.
it's not working. So we'll let Robert
Yeah.
sample it, get back with us tomorrow.
I definitely will, my
Not
friend.
sample it, but see what you get.
Definitely. Thanks for bringing that to our attention.
Okay. Well, I was actually going to test it because we're on LinkedIn. Why not? And
Yeah,
see,
let's do.
Yeah,
yeah,
let's.
because the connection, as far as I understand, well, they don't necessarily have a limit because you're requesting. So here, let me just I'm gonna get a profile and see. So perfect. She has a LinkedIn. Same thing. We want to build a rapport and see. Oops, sorry. So here you can see that the next step is connecting, right? And here, oh, by personalized invitation remaining for this personalized invitation. Okay.
And they used to not do that.
Ah, okay.
Very interesting. Definitely trying to get y'all to upgrade, huh?
Mm-hmm. Try premium. Let me see what it does here. Well, they're most likely gonna ask for. Okay, well, it's a premium, so definitely they're gonna revert into a trial after. So we have to caution with that. Okay, that's new. When did that happen?
That's new.
Yeah.
Those stinkers caught on.
And then how do you bypass it? Now I'm very curious to
I
understand
don't.
that.
I mean, I always
Mm,
went to connections. I could do a lot throughout the day, and it started, Robert and Virgil, I think like five weeks ago. I was just like, this is a
okay.
bummer, and so
Yeah, I'll just be perfectly honest. Like I said, I don't do a lot of connections on LinkedIn. I'm
Mhm.
primarily on Facebook. So I
Well,
didn't even.
Keisha raised her hand. She might have something that we can benefit from. Keisha, do you have a comment or a question?
Yeah, sometimes the way around it is you still go to the person's page and like something on their page and let them come over to you.
That
Yeah,
definitely would be
so
the next step. Yeah, courting their attention. Hmm. Well, there
Very
we
interesting.
have it. Interesting.
We'll have to bring that up to Cheryl too. And
Well, I
that's
guess they're catching on to certain things that have been happening in the background. There's a lot of people that have been using automations across the boards and doing things that they're not supposed to be doing, and that results into cracking down. I guess this is what we're seeing happening. All the more important, as Keisha now mentioned, that we really start building these rapport, liking these people, since there are layers to starting the conversation, and that we really take the time to count basically what we're doing, our steps.
Hey,
Just gonna see
another
here what
thing,
it.
Virgil.
Mhm.
One more thing, if you would, something that you might need to check into. Dean is saying that he tried to use the newsletter from the link and saying the team does not exist. I don't know if you know this or not, but if it's going to the team section that you created, there is a limitation on that date. I don't know if that date has expired or not. You might need to
Okay.
replace that link on that website.
Actually, didn't. I wasn't aware of that. Thank you for the share.
I did the same for me earlier.
Okay, so I'm going to update that and I'll share the new link as well. I didn't notice that I think they shortened the link, gotten
Yeah.
shorter.
Oh, look at that. 4/7.
And
Yep.
okay, and they're giving us an expiry date. Yeah, m- make sure to always read the pop-up. I made a mistake, so it's going to be good until April. Then after that, we have to re renew it. So
Right.
here you go. I'm going to put it in a conversation.
Thanks for bringing that up, Dean.
Yes, thank you for the share. And we're going to update that as well right away. Perfect. Questions on what we discussed? Anything more you'd have in mind to bring up? Things that you notice, things that we can all benefit from, just like right now.
I just the final thought in my head, well, even though we still got more time, is
Mm.
invite everyone you know to Thursday's demonstration. Can't stress that enough because it's going to be mind-blowing, and it is the future of how we're going to be effectively using Now Nav.
Yes.
I would invite everyone you know. Thursday, 12 Eastern Standard Time.
Use that link. Definitely. Okay. Well, do you guys, I mean, how have you guys been using the rest of the tools? Since a lot of what we're going to be doing eventually through Nav is sending them funnel links or things like that. How are we doing with the rest of the setup? That's also part of our strategy, right? Any questions with that? Setting up the websites, preparing our own social media profiles. Last time we had a conversation around making sure that you align your business presentation yourself with what you're doing. For example, I followed in and created a digital card for Nowsite just in case I need to use that. The links also updated and will get you to a consistent presentation of what I'm doing or who I am. And this is what's up. I actually did the what's up button as well. So things like that are things that you want to prepare so that your business is ready. So for example, the Facebook leads to that same thing. So these are important. Have you guys gone through that process, aligning your uh, brand presentation with the relationships that you're trying to create and the conversation that you're about to have? It helps create even a better engagement. Most likely, something like that also happened with Uzuma. I know that Uzuma is actively always showing his business conversation throughout his presentation, and that allows people to understand what is coming next.
And Virgil, real quickly, Dean is saying it wasn't the team link, it was a newsletter link.
The
So I don't know
newsletter
if you
link.
have, yeah, I don't know if you have it going.
Yeah, this one is, uh, yeah, it's the same one here. Let me see. Maybe I haven't changed anything.
Dean, if you would come off of, feel free to come off of
Yes,
mute and
open
let
your
us
microphone.
know. Was it when you tried to sign up or something like that? I
Yeah,
guess.
no, that link that was up in the earlier in the chat, trying to find it again. Yeah, the one that said how to newsletter.now.
Uh-huh.
That said that gave me that response.
Yeah, try clicking on the new one. There might have been a character off in the copy, the link that I put. I put a new one in because I haven't changed it.
Are you able to click that link, Dean, and see it
Oh, I
come up?
see. No, this is how TOW newsletter as opposed to just how to newsletter.
Oh,
Maybe that's
there
why.
you go. That's it right there.
Oh, somebody had a digit 2 in there.
Yeah, you added an extra. The URL is actually how tell newsletter. If you look at it,
Oh Lord
you got an
Almighty,
extra W in the
W there.
domain name.
Okay, here I'm gonna
That's
correct
what it
that.
is. It's the W in the domain name. Love it.
Oh, I spelled out the 2
Yep,
here. Wow.
got
Okay,
you right there.
Lord Almighty. Okay, so
Well,
I'm gonna correct that, and everybody keep that in mind. Probably gonna have to update this across the platform as well. Okay. This usually will impact a different conversation here. That is something to keep in mind, folks, when we're updating a URL. A simple change like that can interfere with what we have done here. I'm going to test it out here. Uh, you will see. So I'm just going to go pretty sure. If I go to the latest video, I have Seymour. And because I've changed the title, it has affected that. So if ever you're doing those type of changes, subtle changes, however they may be, when you make a change to URL, think about the overall impact across the platform.
Okay, I just got the same response with I changed it to how to newsletter. Dot,
Uh,
just took
One
out
second, I
the
hadn't. You went a little too fast here because I hadn't saved
oh
and published it yet. So here now that should be basically the correction.
yeah, it takes me there to what I'm looking at, and then when I register, I get that other
When you register, you get another error.
I get the other error. Yep.
Oh, maybe because I changed the page calling there. Let me just go back to it. Uh,
see, that's
uh,
what I thought he was talking about originally, is where the registration went to.
yeah, that as well. Needed to update that too.
I
Um,
love it, Dean. Thanks for coming here, man. New guy showing us how to
Absolutely.
fix our stuff. I love
Keeping
it.
us in line.
Yeah,
That's
the
what's
new
up.
pain in the butt, right?
No,
And
I love
no,
it.
no, no,
Not a
absolutely
pain at
not.
all.
You're actually teaching us a very good
Very
lesson
appreciated.
overall, in a sense that uh, for us who create a lot of platform, we need to make sure that periodically we come back and maintain them, right? And this is something that came to light here because I put this in place and I carried on onto other things, not knowing that there's certain things that need to be done. And this is also great for general exercise group testing,
And
right? As we grow. Go ahead.
if I may, Virgil, also, so in light of full transparency to everybody that's here, the
Mhm.
reason that Virgil has set this up, okay, is because we used to have the how-tos Tuesday and Wednesday. Cheryl would come in and she would do them, and she was able to stream into the Facebook group. They have not given Virgil that access, so we're doing a workaround, and just all of the replays that we're doing, Virgil is taking his time and putting this all together for everybody that's here. So if you want to have access or updates or newsletters, that's something that Virgil's doing internally, just so everybody knows.
I love it. You know what? Next time, Robert, before we start the session, I'll let you introduce the show because you do it with that voice. I couldn't have done it better. Love it. Everybody should have an anchorman like Robert.
It's your show, brother. I just got your back.
Not at all. It is our environment. I couldn't lead the show even if I wanted to. I know certain things, but my knowledge is not all knowing. And I definitely rely on, like, for example, the exchange that we have to grow, right? I think it's a fallacy to think that you're perfect. You stop learning, you start improving, you start making a lot of mistakes, right? So that is definitely something that we want to keep in mind.
But
Yeah.
yeah, we appreciate you being here, Dean.
I hope you come back too. Keep coming back and looking at that milk, pulling at these hairs that we can get better. Devil is in the detail, as they say, right? So that's important. Okay. So
So real quick, everybody good? Maybe we could cover hot links. Everybody good on hot links?
Hot links.
Some people might be looking at me like, what are you talking about? Hot links. That's something we brought up last week or 2 weeks ago to my team. You know what I'm talking about, Virgil?
Actually, you lost me. Give it to me. Hot
So
links.
hot links when you go to create a message that you can go and save those messages, right? So
Hmm.
if you go to the write a message portion,
Oh, sorry. Here.
the next
The
one down
message.
there,
Hmm.
and then let's say we want to start a conversation, right? Well, we had to load somebody, right? So let's load somebody in there if you would.
Now go back to the contact here. Oops. So write a message. Sorry.
Uh-huh.
Message here.
Yep. And then start a conversation.
Oh, start a
Or either
conversation or
one. That's
either
fine.
one.
Either
Okay.
one. So now you see at the very bottom there, let's say build rapport, there's an attachment. There you go. So you click on that. People can go
Okay.
and create what's called a hot link. So you can put in the link that you're wanting to send to somebody and also title it, put it in there, and that'll come out in that message, right? And it'll come out as a tiny URL that you can save to your clipboard and then you can send it to that person. When that person clicks on that link, you know that they clicked on that link because it'll come up on your daily checklist. So it'll tell you like, oh, okay, somebody clicked. And the more times that they click, you'll start seeing like a little fire sign next to it, which I think is why they call it hot links.
Hot
But
links.
what I'm getting at is that if you're smart about getting ready for 2025 and having the Now Nav, I would also go in here and think about the links that you do send out without being spammy, right? But create those hot links in there. And also you can create the message like what we're doing now. And then you can save that message, right? So if we create a message, let's go ahead
Yeah.
and create the message.
Oh,
And we
sorry.
can add now site link or whatever hot link that you want.
All right. You threw me off when you when we sorry when you mentioned hot links because these
Yeah,
used to be attachments
right,
basically,
right.
right? And perfect.
But see, now
Okay.
that we have that, right? If we added that link, then boom, right there. That's what I'm
See.
getting at. So if you go and you
Exactly.
save these messages, right? Maybe you have one for your introduction. Maybe you have one for your build rapport. Maybe you have one when somebody says, hey, can you send me some information? All you do is you have them in your CRM, you pull up their information, go to Messenger, click that ad, boom, send them a hot link.
Yes.
You're
Yes,
welcome.
indeed. Yes, that was sorry. You threw me off when you put hot link in it, but that is definitely part of the conversation. This was part of our initial sales flow, right? And this brings back to mind the conversation that we have when the post, including links, right? And these hot links are a great tool because you're tracking, as Robert mentioned, you're tracking the engagement through here, right? So this is important as well. So definitely, and it comes back again to the how, because these links are how we get the client to book a meeting, how we get the client to go discover our opportunity, how we get the client to buy in,
Right.
right?
As an
So that's
example,
very important.
if you've got
Mhm.
a video that you share with people, turn it into a hot link.
Exactly.
Right. I think that this is one of our most underutilized tools that I
Mhm.
absolutely love. And if you're not tracking your stuff, you should be.
Yeah, you're right. It fell into the crack when we started looking at all the other tools, but this was an essential tool. Yes, because for example, coming back to what we are doing with the nav, and this is thank you for bringing that up as well, because if we go back to the nav, well, at one point we're going to be asked to generate those meeting. Which one would that? And that includes a link to be sent in that message, right? So let's prepare our booking links and whatnot. Which one was it there? It was, I
Exactly. And
think,
then all you're
in
doing
here.
is you just put in a different prospect, and that link is going to change and it'll be attached to that specific prospect.
So you see,
So super cool stuff.
yeah. So definitely that is, yeah, it's really part of getting ready for these process. Yeah, very good notice. So again, everybody, that definitely is something that we want to keep in mind. The how to of what we're going to be selling should definitely be in those links. And we should definitely think about when it is appropriate to send that said link. For example, in the connection there, keeping that in mind, I should now have my business card because at the first connection, I should include that as well. Great impression. When I say let's connect, we have the same interest. Thank you for the share.
Oh, happy to help, brother. Like I said, I'm just thinking about for myself, like what would I want to focus on? So share that information and that knowledge with everybody else. When Thursday comes around, it's going to get even better and easier,
Better.
right? Imagine just be able to go on social media, take a snapshot, and boom, it goes right into your CRM. Everything
Um,
starts happening. Like it's going to be crazy amazing, crazy amazing. So make sure you invite everybody Thursday, 12 Eastern Standard Time. Invite everyone you know.
and that's going to be a game changer. Absolutely. Because being able to get that much information from a screen capture is a lot. Makes everything basically that I've just demonstrated so much easier because now I'm going to get all that information and come back to the process that we discussed a lot more easily. Surfing that wave, nabbing, as I said. Okay. So for today, that will be all. Try preparing questions, try using the tool, putting into practice everything that we discuss so that next time we can bounce off these different questions and whatnot. And also, I will go over the different website links that I need to be updated here. Time for an update. Good for everybody?
Sounds great to me.
Perfect. If there were any questions that weren't answered, again, I'll go over the chat and try to answer the questions that way through the Q&As.
Martin says, great training to start 2025. Mahalo, Virgil and Robert. Off to my next webinar training. I appreciate it. Yes,
Well,
Lori, we are recording it.
yes, I'm going to be putting it on the site. And thank you guys for your time because it's only happening because you guys are showing up. If nobody shows up, well, no more now how-to sessions. So thank you guys for taking the time to do so.
Yeah, let's not put Virgil out of a job. Love you, brother.
Love you too.
Great day, everyone.
Yes, and I'll follow up what we discussed before.
Sounds good. Bye for now.